Good morning, how's it going? Now that Grian's Minecraft series Wild Life has come to an end, I decided that I wanted to make something from it. So today we're making the trivia bot. So this is the design that they used in the game. I'm going to use this as a base, but it's not going to be exactly the same. So let's get started. I'm starting with some pre-loved tinfoil. I'm using this to bulk up the head so I don't need to use as much clay, and it's a lot lighter so it's more likely to stand up. The idea is to get it as square as possible, but I realised pretty quickly that this is going to be quite difficult with just tinfoil. I think it's pretty clear once I cover it with clay just how squint it is, but I do try my best to fix that later on. I'm using the table just to get the sides as flat as possible before I start adding clay. I add balls of clay to each of the corners to bulk up that shape and try and define the edges as sharp as possible. So I'm filling in all of the edges where the tinfoil didn't square off, and then I'm using the end of one of my clay sculpting tools just to get that flat edge. I roll flat some clay and then trim it with my X-Acto knife to get the nice clean edges, and then frame out the screen to get that nice pixelated look. As this is the main focal point of the design, I really tried my best to get this as neat as possible. I put a hole in the base for where the neck will go, and then used a twisted up bit of armature wire as the neck. The body starts off the same way with tinfoil, but now I've learnt that making straight edges is really quite difficult. I'll try a bit harder to make the foil as flat as possible before moving to the clay. I've decided to curve the bottom round instead of keeping the blocky shape. I feel like it adds to the character a bit more. In sticking with the design, I cut out 2 triangles to make the collar of the shirt. The tie again is fairly simple, just a line that's going to eventually be hidden by the jacket, and then the knot on top is just a blob that I've blended into the rest of the tie. The lapels are cut to size with a sheet of clay that I've rolled out, and I cut wee notches into the sides to get the proper shape. The collar again is just that flattened piece of clay that I've trimmed to size and then draped around the neck. The back and the sides of the jacket are fairly simple. I've just rolled flat another sheet of clay and cut out some triangles to get the shape of the back. I blend them into the rest of the body with the flat of my sculpting tool to make it look like the jacket continues all the way up the body. I make sure the edges are well defined, and then I move on to the arms. I start off with a length of armature wire that I've bent in the middle for the shoulder, so one edge of this will go into the body. Again, using tinfoil, I bulk out the arm a bit to minimise my clay usage. I then bend one end for the wrist, and then cover in clay. This is the arm that's going to be holding the microphone. The microphone starts off in much the same way as the arm did. I cut a length of wire and add a ball of tinfoil on the end. I then try and get it as round as possible, and after I've done that, I cover it in a layer of clay. Again, like before, trying to get the sharp edges was quite difficult. I've rolled flat a ball of clay and then trimmed down the edges, so again I've got that sharp edge. I then wrap the microphone in 2 different places to segment each section. The wee details on projects like this is always my favourite part to do. Texturing's always more monotonous, but it's definitely the thing that brings it all together and makes it really look like the thing that you're trying to make. Moving on to the painting. Of course, with the reference I knew exactly what I was going to do for this painting, so I just got to putting down the base colours. Starting with the head, I did a couple of passes of grey to make sure it was a solid colour, and then all the other metal parts also got a base of this same grey. I decide later that it's a bit dark, so I do go in and lighten some of this again. So the jacket gets based in red. So it's worth saying that I just got a new phone and I'm not quite sure what I'm doing wrong. I don't know if it's the white balance is off or something, but the red looks really orange on my camera and I'm not quite sure how to fix it. So if anyone has an iPhone 15 and know how to fix this issue, please let me know in the comments, that would be great. I think it might be that the lighting I've got is really yellow, and once I move away from this yellow lighting and start using the daylight again, I think it resolves. Now I've added the arms to the body, they also get a red base coat, and I go over the body again to make the paint look more consistent all over. Like I said before, the metal parts all get grey, and then the shirt gets a nice white. I did have to go over the white a couple more times because the paint just doesn't lie very well, and it's quite transparent. All the metal bits then get a shiny silver paint, which I hardly ever get to use, so I was really quite happy to be able to use it for something. These shiny paints always need a base coat of something because they're generally really thin. I found them quite difficult to work with in the past, but for this I think it really works. You can see here the difference in the dull grey compared to the shining silver. The screen then gets a really dark grey, which I carry down into the tie and on the base of the microphone. Back to the face, I add a lighter grey background to where the face is going to go, trying to keep that pixelated look all the way around. And then I block out the 3 different colours for the eyes. For the mouth I add a little grey to the white because the white was really quite stark. It's time for the base. For this I've just used a bit of scrap wood that I've nicked from my dad's garage, and I'm starting by painting all the edges black. I did also sand down all the edges before I started painting to make sure I had a flat surface. The top gets an initial pass of brown, and then I go in with a ruler and mark down 1 centimeter increments so I could make this grid pattern. Because of course this is coming from Minecraft, I thought it'd be a nice idea to make the base pixelated and go in with different greens and browns to make it look like grass and dirt. To make the model stand up and to try and reference the original design, I've bent round a bit of armature wire to make it look like it's hovering. And off camera I add some UV resin to the front of the model to make it shine and actually look like a screen. As always, I want to say a massive thank you for everyone who's still here and still watching. Please leave a like if you liked it and tell me what you think in the comments. Also, if you have any suggestions or something you'd like to see, also leave a comment. I always go down and read them. Again, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a nice day.